If statements are used by a lot of scripting languages. It basically says, if condition is true, do something. For example, if we were to declare a public float, and a float basically means it could have a decimal, we'll name this number 1. And then if we were to get another float, let's name it number 2. Then if we were to go into the inspector and make number 1 4 and number 2 4.01, because the number 1 is less than 2, we might want it to do something. To do this, we go into Visual Studio's or Mono Develop, type the syntax, which is if number 1 is less than number 2, then do something. For right now, let's stick to something simple and do debug.log number 2. This will enter whatever number 2 is. Let's save our script, go back into Unity, play, go to our console. It did that conditional statement. Because it is in the start function, it only ran once. However, if we were to change number 2 to 4, run, nothing shows up. This is because it's only asking if it's greater than. To make it or equal to, you add it equals. Now if we were to play, it prints out 4. In addition to the if statement, there's something called the else if. This basically says if this is not true, check if this is true. So if we were to write else if number 1 is greater than number 2, then it also does something. Let's just write print number 1. Print is basically the same thing as debug.log. For this example, let's remove the equals from the first if statement. Now let's save our script if we haven't already, go back into Unity, and let's make number 1 higher than number 2. If we were to play, it prints out 5. This number 2 is less than number 1. If none of these were true, there's something called the else statement. The else statement basically says if none of these are true, then do that. So if we write else, then the brackets, and then let's just say print they are equal. Save our script. There's nothing to do if it is equal to each other, except for this else statement. Now what this code says is if number 2 is greater than number 1, then print the number 2. However, if number 1 is greater than number 2, print number 1. Otherwise, print they are equal. So let's go back into Unity, make them equal, play the game. It will say they are equal. That is if statements. If you have any questions or want to give tips to other developers, be sure to comment them down below. I will leave a link to this script with more explanation in a GitHub link down below.